This is the second part of the plasma membrane video series. I already say little bit about the integral and peripheral membrane protein. Integral membrane protein divided into two groups. The first is the anchor and the second is the transmembrane. An anchor membrane protein is attached to the cell membrane via the hydrophobic region in the two types, by the lipids and via GPI. And the second group is the transmembrane protein. Also, it is divided into two types, single pass and a multipass. Single pass means the alpha helix attached to the hydrophobic region singly, and the multipass means the alpha helix and beta barrels both are attached to the hydrophobic region multiply. And the single pass transmembrane protein is divided into two types, is a type 1 and type 2. Type 1 and type 2 different by the position of the NH2 group and CHH group. And here he goes. This is the flow chart of the membrane protein. Now going to the next slide. Now talk about the intrinsic or integral membrane protein. The integral membrane proteins can classified into two groups. And here is the first type is the transmembrane protein. They are the most common type of integral membrane protein. They spans the entire membrane. And the following diagram, there is the following diagram, 1 2 3. Here it goes, 1 2 3 is the transmembrane protein. And the second group is the integral monotopic proteins. There it goes, the integral monotopic proteins. This is they are also permanently attached to the membrane, but only one side embedded into the single phase of the membrane. And this is the integral monotopic protein. The 4, 5, 6, 7 is the integral monotopic protein. Now deeply describe to the subtype of the integral membrane protein, that is transmembrane protein. You already know that they are the most common type of the integral membrane protein. They spans the entire membrane. They spans the whole entire membrane. There are different types of transmembrane proteins based on the structure and how they spans across the membrane, such as single pass. This is a single pass and this is the multi-pass. And the first is single pass transmembrane protein cross the membrane only once. And this two is the multi-pass. The multi-pass transmembrane proteins wave in and out cross several times. This is the multi-pass and the single pass transmembrane protein. Now going to the next slide. This is the single pass transmembrane protein. And this is generally there are two types. They are alpha helix proteins that cross the membrane only once, that is they are biotopic protein. This type of protein usually has a hydrophilic section and containing charged and polar amino acid in the aqueous environment outside the cell, and the hydrophobic stage of the 20 to 25 non-polar amino acids, forming an alpha helix with the hydrophobic core of the bilayer. So only the alpha helical segment of the protein crosses the bilayer. And the example of the single pass transmembrane protein is glycophorin A. Now there are again two types of the single pass transmembrane protein. First, type 1, they are carboxyl termini, the C termini. This is the C termini. The towards the cytosol portion means COOH bond are present in here. The towards the cytosol. This is a cytosol part, cytosol portion, and the second part is the amino termini. This is the also called N termini. As NH2 group attached to this point, and towards the extracellular space. This is the extracellular space. And the second type is a type 2. The COOH and NH2 group N type M terminal is towards the cytosol portion, and the C terminal is the carboxyl terminal COOH group is the towards the extracellular space. This is the difference between the type 1 and type 2 a single pass transmembrane protein. Now multi-pass transmembrane proteins. This is a single alpha helix or helical bundle and beta barrels. Both topologies result in hydrophobic surface facing acyl chain of lipids. From membrane can be very short sequence. A few amino acid and loop are largely independently folding domains. That is the alpha and that is the beta barrel. And the example of the alpha helical protein, that is the bacteriorhodopsin and many cell surface receptor bacteriorhodopsins and many cell surface receptors, that is the example of the alpha helical proteins. And the beta barrel, no beta sheets present in the plasma membrane, it's occur in barrel form, wrap sheet around into barrel shape, and side chains on the outsides of the barrels are hydrophobic. The example of beta barrel is the porine. Now going to the next slide. This is the schematic drawing of the 5 type of the membrane protein. This is the schematic drawing and this is the 5 types is the present. The first type 1 and type 2 already I also discussed in this previous slides. Generally, they are different via the formation of the NH2 and COOH group position. And the type 3 is the multi-pass transmembrane protein. The alpha helix the multiply pass on the hydrophobic region. The alpha helix, the pass, first pass, second pass, third pass, and fourth pass. They are the third type, and the fourth type is the also transmembrane. Is the similarly structure of the first and second. This is the type 4 of the membrane protein, and the fifth type is the GPI anchored membrane attached to the hydrophobic portion. This is the type 1 transmembrane protein and GPI anchored. This is the GPI anchored proteins contain their N terminus in the lumen, where in the type 2 and type 4 transmembrane protein it remains in the cytosol. It remains in the cytosol portion. And this is the 5 types of the membrane protein, and this is the 3 types NH2 group is the present in the cytosol, and also 3 COOH group is present in the cytosol. Is the type 5, type 1 and type 3, and both type 3 NH2 and COOH is present. Now the main group of the integral membrane protein is the integral monotopic protein. This is the integral monotopic proteins are the 4 integral monotopic proteins are present. The schematic representation of the different types of the integral monotopic proteins between the cell membranes. This is the first types, the number 1 types. It is the interaction by the amphibiety alpha helix parallel to the membrane plane. This is the parallel alpha helix parallel to the membrane plane. And this is the first type of the integral monotopic, and the second type is the interaction by a hydrophobic loop. This is the hydrophobic loop. This is the hydrophobic loop that attached to the hydrophobic portion. And the third type is the interaction by the covalent bond. Covalent bond is the covalent bond. The green color is the attached to the hydrophobic portion. The covalently attached. The third type. And the fourth type is the ionic interactions. Ionic interaction means many ions are attached to the hydrophobic portion. They like the calcium ions. This is the 4 calcium ion. This is the orange color. They like the bead-like structures and attached to the pearl-like structures attached to the hydrophobic portion. And this is the 5 types of the integral monotopic proteins. Okay, that's it. It is the all about to the types and structure of the membrane protein of the plasma membrane. I also continue this series of plasma membrane. Next video also coming soon. And my friends, the most important thing is do like, comment, share and subscribe my channel. Okay, see you soon. Bye.